Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the horror guru.
Who am I even more? Oh, that's right, I'm Count Jackula. Hey.
He's Count Jackula, and today we're going to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of the Chucky series on Sci-Fi and USA. Unfortunately, the show I do not think is available to stream anywhere, so you're going to have to find your own way to watch it if you do not have those two channels, and I wish you luck with that. But if you've been keeping up with these vlogs so far, we've been a pretty big fan of this show, and we've been enjoying its twists and turns with its characters and wondering where the hell this is all going. We're still wondering where the hell this is all going.
There have been developments,
but some things we've been waiting for have finally happened with these next two episodes. Without going into details, because this is the pre-spoiler section, we have finally seen Andy. Andy has showed up. Fiona Dourif, playing Nico, or Nico possessed by Charlie,
Chucky,
has finally showed up. Jennifer Tilly has finally showed up. And the show has started to lose its goddamn mind in all the best ways.
Yeah. We're starting to we're heading towards the fucking like Chucky family reunion.
Yeah. Like everything that's happened since the original series have all started to like all come together with this so far.
The only characters that could be here that aren't so far are Glenn and Glenda.
Yeah, not yet.
And Andy's mom.
Andy's mom, no. But we have seen his foster sister, Kyle, who was also at the end of Cult of Chucky, showed up in this as well.
Oh, and the girl in 3, from 3. Mm-hmm. She hasn't shown up either.
I don't think any of the characters from 3 other than Andy have showed up at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of characters that finally show up in very wild and crazy ways. We get some more flashbacks into how Chucky and Tiffany met and how their relationship started and how it went back in the 80s when they were on their killing spree. We'll go more into detail in the spoiler section.
That's probably the campiest
that
the show has been.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely 100% relies on you suspending some disbelief.
Oh, 100%. It's the section of the show so far that's the most like Seed of Chucky in terms of camp levels.
Yeah.
But more than that, they also have... Okay, this is a minor criticism. It's a minor criticism because it didn't really bother me, but I know it's going to bug a whole bunch of people. The movie kind of has the Insidious 2 problem. Insidious 2 did this thing where they had a flashback to a young version of Lin Shaye's character.
Yeah.
Where you had old lady Lin Shaye doing a voiceover on the young actress. And it sounded awkward and the voice didn't match the face and everything felt weird because it's clearly an old person voice coming out of a young body and it just feels wrong. This does a similar thing where it has Fiona Dourif playing young Charles Lee Ray, but it's Brad Dourif's current voice coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And it feels very awkward and weird. That being said, I was willing to roll with it.
Yeah, you gotta roll with it because you also gotta roll with the idea that like Tiffany changes ethnicity.
Fair enough. There's also a Tiffany flashback, and Tiffany has the same thing where it's a young person and it is Jennifer Tilly's much older voice coming out of her face, and it feels, and she's trying to youngify it a little bit by going a little bit higher pitch, but that just makes it feel weirder, you know?
Yeah. Like you that one. Here's the thing. In that flashback, the Fiona Dourif looks enough like Brad Dourif, that you can buy it, but the switch is not absolutely complete because there are ways that old 80s Brad Dourif acted.
Yeah.
But so if you're a big fan of Brad Dourif, like you notice some of that shit's missing because no one does crazy face quite as well as Brad Dourif.
True. She did a good job.
Yeah,
though.
She did a good job. But like
it just feels like you've entered a weird 1980s Fulci movie.
Where everything's slightly out of sync.
Yeah, the dubbing and stuff. Yeah. That's what it kind of feels like. But honestly, It's a minor criticism because I was having fun with it, so I didn't care as much.
There's look. The Chucky franchise is a big family. There was no other way to do this. This is the way it was going to be done. I am just found myself going like, no, that's okay, Chief. I'm just rolling with it. But you do have to suspend your disbelief.
Oh,
but
definitely.
If you are a fan of the Chucky films, it's a real treat.
And I mean all the Chucky films, because this franchise is paying homage to all of them. This series is.
Oh, yeah.
So.
This is the whole series is essentially Chucky 7.
Yeah, well, it's a direct sequel. Now that we've confirmed, it is a direct sequel to Cult of Chucky. So all that stuff we've been talking about with how the fact that Chucky's in multiple bodies at the end of Cult Chucky, he's in multiple dolls as well as in Fiona Dourif's body. That all comes into roost. Those chickens come to roost in this. In these 2 episodes, like they confirm that. So
they even go to the they even go to the trouble of telling you that indeed Tiffany has taken over Jennifer Tilly's body.
Yes, because
she's impersonating Jennifer Tilly the entire time.
Because I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Seed of Chucky. I'm a huge fan of Seed of Chucky. But for those of you that don't remember Seed of Chucky because you didn't like it very much, you've only seen it once. In Seed of Chucky, Tiffany takes over the actual actress Jennifer Tilly's body. And that continues in this. She's actually in Jennifer Tilly's body, so people recognize her as Jennifer Tilly and not Tiffany. And I actually like that they kept that bit of continuity there.
Yes.
That made me really happy.
And because Jennifer Tilly is so into playing Tiffany, no one is sure how serious fucking Jennifer Tilly is when she does crazy shit.
When she starts doing crazy and people give her the side eye, you also just kind of feel like this is just Jennifer Tilly on an off day. You know? I do have one other minor criticism, and this is one that's unavoidable. So I completely understand. It's unavoidable. The guy who plays Andy is not the greatest actor in the world.
Fair.
Yeah, it's the same guy who played Andy when he was a little kid in the old movies, and he's the same guy who played Andy in Cult of Chucky. And I felt he was a little wonky in Cult of Chucky. He's still wonky in this. It's not that he's bad. It's just that he feels like an actor reading his lines a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't feel supernatural, like not supernatural, but it doesn't feel natural.
Right.
Which is, I'm willing to roll with it because it's the same actor who played the little kid, so there's some continuity there, and as a fan of the original movies, it warms my heart to see him in the role.
Yeah, and he's not bad. That's the other thing. I didn't think he was that bad.
Well, he wasn't terrible. No. It's just, you compare it to every other actor in the show, including the little kids, and he just comes across a lot stiffer.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you could argue that maybe just a character choice because, hey, Andy went through military school. He's all hardened now because he's gone through hell. So he's closed himself off. But I can tell when an actor is just kind of reading lines versus when they're trying to play a stiffer performance. It's and in this case, it feels just a little bit stiffer. Now, they do just some cool stuff with him. Don't get me wrong. The Andy Barkley scenes so far in this show are like Pulp Fiction scenes. They are glorious.
Yeah, basically he and I forget the name of the sister.
Kyle
are running around basically Pulp Fiction style, killing Chucky dolls.
Yeah, they've been hunting down Chucky dolls. That's what they've been doing behind the scenes. I don't want to go too much detail because I don't want to spoil stuff yet.
But they even go into the shit that he was doing during Cult of Chucky and the end of Curse.
Yeah, because they're reconfirming. They do these cool little moments where when these characters show up and you have a little scene with them, they'll do a brief recap of the last time we saw them in the movies for people that didn't watch the movies, or it's been so long they forget the movies. So you get a little brief recap of what happened at the end of Cult of Chucky when Fiona Dourif and Jennifer Tilly shows up. You get a little bit of that when Andy shows up, and you get a recap of Child's Play 2 when Kyle shows up.
Yep.
And it's one of those. If you're a huge fan of the show, the series, you might not need it, but even a hardcore fan might forget details from various movies.
Yeah.
I remember when Kyle showed up in Cult of Chucky, I didn't recognize her at first.
I didn't either.
So it helps to have these little moments where,
Yeah, you were just who's this blonde woman?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. But the show does a good job of making sure that you're never lost with it, and I appreciate that. I do know that does mean that this show is now going to be a harder sell for people that aren't hardcore Chucky fans, but let's be honest. Who the fuck is watching this show that's not a hardcore Chucky fan at this point? If you're not a hardcore Chucky fan, and you're going into watching it, by the time you're done watching this show, or you've gotten to this point in the show, you're going to become a hardcore Chucky fan, because you're going to go seek out those movies and watch them.
Yeah. Or you disappeared a long time ago.
Well, yeah, because this show started off as one show, and it slowly evolved into like 6 other shows, and yet it somehow works.
Yeah. By this point, it's also becoming obvious that some of the episodes are like homages to movies.
Oh yeah, 100%. The most recent episode, episode 6, Cape Queer is what it's called. I'll get into why it's called Cape Queer, but in the spoiler section. But in the non-spoiler section, it is obviously a homage to Cape Fear.
In fact, some of the characters are watching the movie Cape
and
Fear
referencing Cape Fear. Yeah, 100%. So if any of you have seen the Martin Scorsese remake of Cape Fear, where you have Robert De Niro stalking this family and this... And eventually the girl in that. If you've seen that movie, then there's an episode where Chucky's basically doing that, you know? And they do a great job with that. I like that. Like, we had a moment where we're sitting there and they're like, what movie are they watching? And I had to like look it up because I wasn't sure at first, because you don't get the full-on face of Robert De Niro.
Right.
It's the scene where
where he's like pumping iron.
Yeah.
They don't because they don't show you like any of the like classic bits. Yeah. Because that'd be way too expensive.
And I was sitting there going like, I know this movie. What fucking movie it is? And I had to look it up. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's Cape Fear. And then I saw the name of the episode, Cape Queer. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Cape Queer. Got it. Well done. That's and speaking of queer, the queerness quotient of this series has exploded at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You get some culminations of stuff that has been building up in the previous episodes, and you get some confirmations on certain characters being queer that we didn't know were queer yet. So there you go.
Yeah.
So if you're a queer horror fan and you haven't gotten in on the Chucky stuff yet, now's a good time to jump in.
Yeah.
You know, start watching these episodes one by one. See if you can get a hold of them, and you're going to get your queerness.
Yeah. Oh, another important part is that at this point, like, we've well passed the threshold where the main character, Jake, might have turned into a bad guy. At this point, he's just trying to stop Chucky.
Yeah. At this point, the show has basically evolved into, it's kind of like it's almost like a 80s style kids adventure story where you have the kids dealing with this thing that the parents don't believe is actually happening.
Yeah.
And in this case, you have Jake, you have the bully chick from the previous episodes, and you have the Jake's love interest. And you have the three of them are kind of trying to stop Chucky before Chucky kills people. And obviously, we wouldn't have a show if they succeeded every time.
Yeah.
So the bodies keep piling up, and they're like desperately trying to stop Chucky. All the while, we're getting like flashbacks to like what happened with Chucky in the past, as well as side flashes as to what's happening with Andy and Kyle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, this show is really gearing up to be something truly special. It's already something special, but like, if it just keeps going buck wild like it's going, there is not a horror show we've had like this before. This is unique.
No, like, I'm waiting. Like, I don't know I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this damn thing.
This feels like the kind of insanity you see every season of American Horror Story, but with a much more coherent story.
Yeah, agreed.
Even as a fan of American Horror Story, it's very obvious that most seasons are fly by the seat of their pants. They're just kind of making shit up as they go along. This feels like Don Mancini knows where he's going, but he's willing to go just as crazy as the American Horror Story stuff, because we've had some wild shit happen in these last few episodes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So, as previously stated, Chucky is a sci-fi and a USA show. I keep, every time I feel like it's not streaming, I feel like someone tells me it is streaming somewhere. So go ahead and look for it wherever you can and see if it's streaming somewhere, because we've had to find our own ways to find copies of these episodes because we do not have television.
Yeah, we do not have basic cable.
We do not have basic cable, so we've had to find our ways to watch these episodes ourselves. If you're able to find like a much more legit way to watch it, go ahead, because this deserves your support. And the more support it gets, the more of it we'll get. So, hell yeah. And with that said, my fellow Gorn, is there any dead animals in this episode? In these last two episodes?
I don't think so.
The first episode, way back when,
there was a dead cat, but in these, no, I don't think so.
No dead animals. All right. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers.
Mom's gonna die.
Yeah.
Mom's gonna die. If you
man.
are a mom in this show, by the end of this show, you are most likely dead.
Oh, let's be real, too. I think Devon Sawa's second character's days are limited at this point,
Oh, yeah,
too.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, so these next two episodes have a lot of tragic deaths that happen within them. In fact, episode 6 literally kills off two of the mom characters. The main character's aunt
and his love interest's mom.
Yes. The detective mom. Those two moms end up dying in graphically brutal ways. One is basically flung out a window that's not open, by the way, so it's shattering through the window.
Yeah. Oh, that was super mean.
And splats on the ground in front of her child. Oh my God! How horrifying is that? And here, the worst part is, the kid is already prepared that his mom's gonna die eventually, because part of the plot development in these last few episodes is that she has stage 4 cancer, and it's reached a point where there's not gonna be...
Yeah, the prognosis is not good.
Yeah, it's grim. It's grim. She's probably not gonna make it for very long. So to get that news, and then immediately after that, have this, what appears to be an apparent graphic suicide right in front of him.
Yep.
Holy shit. That's actually something I gotta really praise this show for. It's taken a bunch of characters and put me through the ringer with them. Like, I like them at first, and then I don't like them, and then I hate them, and then I feel bad for them, and then I like them again, and it's doing that. It's doing that the entire time. And like the junior character, the main character's cousin, that character, I just kind of grew to hate as the show went on. Like, at the beginning, he seems to care about his cousin, but then he also just seems to be an asshole about it the whole time. So I kind of grew to hate him. But then these last two episodes, we really started to get into his own mindset where, like, you know, he feels like his girlfriend's kind of mistreating him and kind of abandoning him. His dad is being a piece of shit to him the entire time because he wants him to be the big, strong fucking jock who wins all the racetrack awards, even though he just got injured, and then tries to cheat him into the finals, even though he didn't earn it, and so he didn't. Yeah. And so you're watching it. You watch this kid. More things pile up on him, and you start to really care about him. And then you get that final nail. His mom has cancer.
Yeah.
And then then it appears she commits suicide in front of him, but actually Chucky kills her. Chucky basically uses a filing cabinet and slams it, or filing rolly thing, whatever you call it. One of those mail carts.
Yeah, mail cart.
Yeah. Hits her with a mail cart. She flings out a window. Splats on the car right in front of the kid who's sitting in the car, and there's his mom with her face halfway through the fucking windshield. Holy shit!
Bravo!
Holy shit! That was brutal. Oh my God! 2 thumbs up. And the worst part is that you actually start to care about her by the time this happens.
Yeah,
you're watching.
Like, oh, geez.
You're watching her now that you know that she's not cheating on anyone and that she's actually going through this cancer thing. You feel a lot more empathy for her, even though you still feel like she's being terrible to her nephew. Like she's
yeah.
You know, like she keeps like wanting to get him kicked out of the house, and you're just sitting there going like, no, come on, like.
Yeah.
I know that you're going through a lot and stuff like that, but like he needs someone, and I don't think foster care is going to be better than you two, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
to be fair, I mean, I think Andy Barclay could fucking back you up on that shit.
Exactly. You know. And plus, if you're there, making the kid go to the foster care just seems like a piece of shit move, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like, especially if you have a kid, so it's not like you haven't raised a kid before.
Yeah. Like, what are you...
He's a teenager. He's only going to be there for a couple of years. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's eventually going to, like, fuck off. It'll be fine.
You know, so you hate her for that, but then you start to really feel bad for her once you learn what she's going through, and then you have the scene where she has to tell her husband and then tell her son, and it's heartbreaking as shit. You know? Like, oh my god, like these 2 episodes are tear jerkers, let me tell you. Like, you know, and I love that the show has done that. Same thing with the bully character. Like, they made you hate her so much.
The bully character turns around.
They made you hate her so much in the first few episodes, and then in the last few episodes, they made you care. They started to do a face turn for her, and then in these episodes you really start to get where she's coming from and why she is the way she is, as you see more and more that, like, in the first few episodes when the mom does shitty things to her, you kind of are on the mom's side. In the more recent episodes, when you watch as the mom's behavior, like, oh no, this is not a result of the way the daughter behaves. The daughter behaves that way because the mom behaves this way.
Yeah.
Because the mom is very emotionally abusive to her daughter the entire time.
Yeah. There's a lot of this is just, it's a show about fucking child abuse.
Absolutely.
You know,
in the early episodes, like at least my perception was that the mom was acting that bitchy because the daughter was just getting worse.
Yeah.
Watching these episodes, I'm like, oh no, the reason why the daughter gets worse is because she can't do anything that doesn't make her mom act that way.
Yeah.
You know, so she starts acting that way. The reason why she acts like the queen of the school, who is the bitch, who just mistreats everyone, is because that's literally how her...
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, that's literally how her mom treats everyone as the mayor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the town starts to turn on her.
Oh yeah, and you feel so good when the town starts to turn on the mayor. Like, you're like, holy
because
shit.
Like you could tell that basically what it was is that everyone's like, well, we don't necessarily, we know that it's a series of weird murders and everything's like, okay, you know, like everything's bad and like bad stuff is happening, but they hadn't like been angry at anybody until the mayor starts actually fucking up.
Yeah.
And then they're just sort of like, bitch, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, what the hell? Come on.
You know, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, when she goes thoughts and prayers, like...
Yeah, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
You know? They're actually offended.
People are dying in graphically brutal ways, and there's a high chance it's murder, and you're giving us thoughts and prayers. Fuck you.
Yeah, like everyone's pissed off at that point.
So I'm totally engaged in the human, like not human, but the victim plot in this story between Jake and all those characters. And I like the little Scooby-Doo gang he's kind of gathered together so far. And you know that by the end of it, Junior's probably going to end up joining them on this quest. Once he comes to the realization.
Unless Chucky gets to it.
That's a good point. Because so far, okay. We do have some development on the Chucky front in terms of like motivation, because we're not entirely clear yet what his end goal is. But we know that this Chucky, he tries to get the bully to kill Jake now, after spending episodes trying to get Jake to kill the bully.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in which he has the opportunity to kill Jake's boyfriend, but doesn't, and they are basically boyfriends at this point. There's a point in which they actually kiss, and they're like, "Let's go on a date," and so they're just full on boyfriends now. It's adorable, and we see that Chucky's now trying to get her to kill Jake, and then he has an opportunity to kill the boyfriend and doesn't kill the boyfriend, and they all note,
that happened.
That he doesn't kill either of the three of them. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to kill them. He wants to get them
to kill each other.
For whatever reason. So we don't know why, but we're now very clear that this is his goal for whatever reason. So we do have some more developments there too, because we also know that the non-doll Chucky, the one that's in Fiona Dourif, Nico's body from Cult and Curse of Chucky, that Chucky is having a hard time maintaining the body. Yeah. Occasionally, Nika will come out.
Yeah, whenever that Chucky sees blood.
Yeah. Which, naturally, being a serial killer, seeing blood is a thing he sees a lot. So
yeah, so it happens really frequently.
So we know that on some level that Chucky's having trouble maintaining their body, and we don't know if that is all related to what the doll Chucky's trying to do.
Yeah.
We do get to see some other doll Chuckies in the Andy Barclay and Kyle Pulp Fiction sequence where they do a census.
Yeah.
But they pretend to be doing the census, but they're actually there to hunt down a doll that the little girl has, and it's a Chucky doll. I love it because it's just, fuck you, Andy! And they shoot the doll in front of this horrified family, but the horrified family can't do shit or can't say shit because the doll is literally spurting out blood. Yeah. And it's actually attacking people, so... What the fuck? And speaking of blood and horrifying shit, when the detective gets killed by Chucky, and Chucky attacks the detective, and basically throws her down a flight of stairs, and so neck's all snapped. It's fucked up. This is right after the detective finally had the conversation with her son, where the son basically came out to her, and they had this like loving, like she just accepted him for who he is, and it's just like, it doesn't change anything. You're still my son, and I love you, and they hug. Immediately after that, Chucky kills her. Yep. It's so heart-wrenching. It's like, God damn it, Chucky, you son of a bitch. But that was a really great way on Don Mancini's part, because they know that we love Chucky. Yeah. That's a great way to make it so that even though we love Chucky, we're still on the side of the main character. Exactly. We still kind of want to see... We want to see where Chucky goes, but we want to see Chucky get it. Exactly. You know? Exactly. So, like, good on Don Mancini for not pulling any goddamn punches, because this show does not. It was really, really fun. I'm just... The entire time, the show's given me everything I've wanted, but I'm finding myself going, I have no idea what this final act is going to be. Oh, I have no idea. We're not even sure, like, if it's the next 2 episodes or the next 4 episodes. I keep getting conflicting reports on whether it's 8 or whether it's 10 episodes. So we'll find out. But we do know that we're reaching a point in which the show has just lost its mind. Yeah. They have to tell us exactly what's going on pretty fucking soon. Oh, yeah. You know, and we also have this weird part where Tiffany... realizes that Chucky is not Chucky and that it's actually Nika who's taken over her body back, and like knocks her out and is buying Chucky's old childhood home. Yeah. And says that she likes Nika better than Chucky, but you're not sure if she's legit about that or not. Like, I don't know where that's going. Yeah, and there's also a doll that was delivered to the old Chucky house, but we don't know which one because it's a cardboard box. Yeah, at least we think it's a doll. Like, it's a doll-shaped, buddy-shaped box. Yeah, but we don't know if it's a Chucky doll, if it's a Tiffany doll, if it's Glenn and Glenda. That's no fucking clue. That's my one question when it comes to the Tiffany subplot is I'm like, okay, I know that you're back with Charles as Nika, and you're now buying this house, and you want to start your new life and all that stuff. Where are the kids? Yeah. Where are they? Oh, that's another thing. The poor biology teacher is fingered for the murders for some reason. Yeah, probably because they just have to finger somebody. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, she's a really good teacher who actually cares about the kids. Don't do that to her. That's awful. Yeah. You know, you don't want anything bad to happen to her. I think it was you who had like a theory that maybe she's Glenda or something. Yeah, and I'm like that. I don't think so at this point. The reason why I don't think so is because in the early episodes, she saw the Chucky doll. And I feel like if she was Glenn or Glenda... Would have noticed. She would have reacted. She would have reacted or done something more than just walk it away. I think you're right. You know? Yeah. But I am curious where that's going with her too. We also get the awesome. They do a nice like little fake out in the flashback sequences because we flash back to the 80s. Now 80s is when Charles Lee Ray was running rampant as basically the New Jersey version of the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker, basically. He's even dressed kind of like the Night Stalker. Oh, he always has been. Because I always got the impression that that's what Charles Lee Ray was based on, was the Night Stalker. Definitely, yeah. So we get these nice 80s flashbacks where he's like at 80s clubs and like picking up chicks and stuff like that. And obviously it's Fiona Dourif playing him, but with Brad Dourif's voice. And they do a fake out because he ends up meeting this one blonde chick, but her name isn't Tiffany, but it seems like they're going to start a killing spree together, and they do. But then they meet another chick who's a redhead, and they have a threesome with the redhead. That's another thing. There's some sex scenes in these. There's some queer sex scenes in these couple of episodes involving Chucky. And Chucky decides not to kill the redhead because the redhead asks him to kill her, and instead kills the blonde chick, and that's when the redhead reveals her name to be Tiffany, and the two of them have been with each other ever since, under Charles's condition, that she changed her hair to be blonde.
Yep.
So the secret's out. Tiffany is a redhead the whole time. And this also has a great scene where we flash to the present, and they're in the hotel room where they first consummated their relationship the first time.
Yeah.
They've just gone back to the hotel room. It's almost like they're in like a second honeymoon, basically.
Yeah. But now it's Jennifer Tilly and Fiona Dourif.
Yeah. But one of the things that almost slipped past my radar, because it happened so quickly, I had to do a double take. In this scene is there's a little bellboy who's tied to a chair, and there's a bunch of bodies laying about, so you know they've been killing and fucking all night. And Tiffany says that she wants to get a snack and looks at the bellboy, and Chucky takes this to mean like, oh, I could use a snack too. And Tiffany's basically all like, oh, I know, I'm glad you discovered all these things about yourself, but I mean a real snack, like an actual piece of food. The implication being Chucky is bisexual now. So there you go. Chucky has discovered that he is bisexual while being in a woman's body. So Chucky is bisexual and trans, I guess, at this point. I don't know what you can say. I don't know what to call it, but
it's something.
So now Chucky himself is an LGBT icon, so enjoy that, my friends. You can argue which letters of the LGBT he belongs to at this point because it's all over the place, but I'm pretty sure
there are a lot of caveats when you get down to it. Still.
Yeah. I love this show, guys. Like, I love the show, and I can't wait to see where it's going. And if Don Mancini wants to keep going with this show after this season's over, I'll keep watching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But, like, man, like, this, I don't know how to put it other than, like, man, a lot of writing.
A lot of writing,
you know?
This is some of the best writing that he's done. And that's including all the Chucky movies. I love the Chucky movies, and there's some great writing in the Chucky movies, but you can really tell a TV show has given him more things to play with.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I know it's not just him. Like, he has an actual writing staff at this point, and it's there's a writer's room. It's a TV show, but you can tell that like he's able to do a lot of stuff with this show that you couldn't do in a 2-hour movie because it's a 2-hour movie. Yeah. Or in most cases with Child's Play movies, 90-minute movies.
I'm kind of surprised that Tom Holland's not one of the writers.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah. You know, and I don't mean Tom Holland, the actor, like the guy who
the director,
the co-writer of the original Child's Play.
Yeah, and the original director of Child's Play 1. I don't know. I just think that Child's Play is one of those series that he just kind of let go.
It might be
because I mean it's now Don Mancini's baby, and even though he was involved with the first one, it's very much like Don Mancini's sensibilities at this point. You know, 100%, and God bless him because he's never let this franchise be stale, and I appreciate that. The closest he got was when he basically phoned in Child's Play 3 because they gave him less than a year to write it for them to shoot it. So he had like half a year to write it, and then they had half a year to direct it.
To make the movie?
Yeah. Which is why that movie is so kind of the way it is. Like, there's some interesting...
Oh, yeah, that did happen pretty quickly, yeah.
There's some interesting and cool ideas in that movie, and like there's a cool final act in that movie, but there's a reason why that movie is one of the weakest Child's Play movies, and that's because that's the one that kind of had to be phoned in and rushed.
Yeah, because like other than the climax, which you can tell was the whole reason they did the movie. You know, anything else other than we got to do this in order to get to this bit.
And every other Child's Play movie since then has been a labor of love on his part. Especially once you get to Seed and beyond. I know a lot of people don't like Seed, but Seed was 100% a labor of love on Don Mancini's part, and you can tell.
Yeah.
I wish more people would give that movie a chance and actually understand it. I will say this, though. if you're enjoying this show, you have no
You
excuse.
absolutely love Seed of Chucky.
You have no excuse not to like Seed of Chucky, because this show is just as buck wild as Seed of Chucky.
Who are these people who don't like Seed of Chucky? These people.
Half the Child's Play fan base despises Seed of Chucky.
Whoa, really?
I didn't realize this because
I didn't
everyone
realize
I knew
this
loved
either.
it.
Yeah.
But every time I mention it online, people get mad. Yeah.
The Seed of Chucky. That's
Yeah.
like one of the. It's like the best one.
Yeah, I love Seed of Chucky. It's a blast. You know, it's a full-on comedy, but it's basically a homage to fucking
John Waters
movies.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
and I love that.
That was great. Like it was clearly the direction that we were heading for in during and after after Bride.
Oh yeah.
You know, like we were clearly heading in this direction. So I don't understand like why people were like weird about
I've never understood it. Me and my friends back when it came out went to see it in theaters, and we loved it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's up with people on that one.
Weird.
It's that thing where some fans don't like the comedic versions of series, which in most franchises I understand it, but with Child's Play
has always been kind of a comedy.
yeah, well, it's evolved into one more.
Yeah,
as
well,
time goes on.
but it was never not funny.
True. Chucky was always funny.
Chucky was always funny.
You know, I think it had the most successful turn into a comedy as time went on.
Oh, definitely. Because, like, it just leaned into... There's a level of goofiness you could do with Chucky where it seems a little... like somehow it's a little too much if you do it with, like, Freddy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because Chucky is a toy.
Yeah, well, like,
You
I
know?
feel like Seed of Chucky works in a way that Freddy's Dead doesn't as much.
Yes, I agree.
You
I
know?
agree.
Same thing with some of the more, like... Some of the more, like... Actually, it does work for Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, when Friday the 13th did
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah, actually, like Jason Lives really works, and that
Yeah.
one went a much more comedic direction. So yeah, it actually worked in that. For Freddy, they just went too far with Freddy. to be honest.
They did.
Because Freddy always had a comedic element to him, and they had a good balance. Even like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 through 5 have a good balance in terms of tone, even though 5 isn't that good.
Yeah.
5 is not that good, but in terms of tone, I think it's a good balance for it.
Yeah.
But once they get to they just went a little too far with it, and then the one right after that.
And Freddy's Dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you at that point, like, it's because it made the movie was less scary because of it.
Yeah.
And that's the balance. You can't have the movie become less intense because it is funny.
Absolutely.
You know?
Whereas Chucky as a franchise, I feel like it gets better and better the more crazy it goes.
Oh yeah,
Personally.
definitely.
You know, like for me, like I know a lot of people really, really, really prefer like Curse when it went back to the basics. And Curse I've come around to. I've liked Curse a lot more than I did when it first came out. But
well, yeah,
for
because
me,
like that was the one where it was like, I feel like there was a movie between these two that we missed.
Exactly.
You know, like what are we doing here? I don't know what's going on.
But Cult of Chucky was more my speed. Because Cult of Chucky went crazy.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with Seed of Chucky, same thing with Bride of Chucky. Those movies are way more my speed. Now, my favorite Child's Play movie is actually Child's Play 2, because that one is just the straight up slasher of the bunch, and I just really enjoy that movie.
It's also got that fight in the Toy Story.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, like Child's Play 2 feels like the ultimate culmination of the original premise, basically.
Yeah, and then by the time we get to like 3, bit of a step down, but after that
cool
it gets
ideas, but
it gets its juice back.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, people don't like Seed of Chucky. I don't get.
But anyway, we've long stopped talking about the series at this point because you should just watch it.
Oh, it actually has like a gay boy kiss.
Yes.
In it. Like a real one.
They actually do kiss.
Yeah.
It's really adorable. It's a very, very touching scene. You got the swelling music like you would do on a normal teen show, but it's two guys.
Yeah, exactly. It was done exactly the way you would do it if it was an 80s movie and it was a boy and a girl.
Yep, 100%. You know, you get the holding of hands and you get the kiss.
Yeah. They do all that stuff, and I'm like, no, finally, Jesus fuck. Now, was that really that hard? Why do we have to wait?
I know.
You know, why do we have to wait so fucking long?
So yeah, I highly recommend the show, and we will come back in the next 2 episodes, which will either be the last 2 episodes or the second to last 2 episodes. We'll find out, and with that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me on Twitch at Count_Jackula, where I stream 3 times a week on Thursdays and Sunday Pacific Standard Time. Thursdays and Sundays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. No, just all Pacific Standard Time, all the time. On
all the time. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
That's the way we roll.
Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it's a little literal. But anyway, you should come on, check it out. We also got one more session in the Babylon Rising playtest, which I believe is the 17th? No, wait, today's the 17th.
Yeah, today's the 17th.
So, fuck, because we're not, the week after Thanksgiving, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, will be, god damn it. No, that's the fucking, number of this fucking thing. I got it. I'm checking the number. Fuck this.
He's checking the number, my friends.
Checking the number. Professional fucking...
By the way, if you guys like my Mothra tie-dye t-shirt, I got it over at Cavity Colors. I am not sponsored by Cavity Colors, but I am a big fan of the shirts they do, and if you are a fan of Godzilla, they've been doing a whole line of Showa-era Godzilla shirts, and I highly recommend you go check them out, because they're really fucking awesome. And hopefully that gave Jack enough time to find out what number it was.
It didn't.
Oh, it didn't.
It did not. Oops. Because apparently all my fucking, time-telling devices are fucking not starting.
Well,
the 30th.
It's the 30th. There you go.
This is humiliating. So, you join us for the last playtest of Babylon Rising in the current story on Tuesday the 30th of November at 1:30 p.m. Also Pacific Standard Time. Look, follow me on Twitter. Counting Jack. Fucking follow the game company I'm working for, Babylon Game. And fucking just, look, I got an Instagram. It's Satanic Jackula. Fuck you. What do you want?
And y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you would like to help out either of us more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. If you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to put #Momicide. #Momicide, so that, put it into a comment below so that I know you watched this vlog all the way through.
MAMMA. Mama.
Momicide.
MAMA side.
#Momicide. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out. And we're going to record a couple more vlogs for this week, so see you when those come out.